that we developed. And so we moved on to what we now call the Pixile. The Pixile is all around us in a sense. All these objects that you see here, these white objects, we've developed a software that's capable of projecting, wrapping onto surfaces, onto three-dimensional surfaces. So for instance, these spheres, we project images onto it and make it look like as though it's spinning in mid-space. And we can match, cubes, hundreds of cubes or quads, we call them, in space, and project different video feeds directly onto them. And so, yeah, basically we developed this software to be able to wrap three-dimensional surfaces. It's a lot more exciting than what I'm actually saying. We've got this cube here, but you have to sort of shift that way because the projection's happening on this side. So what I'm doing is actually mapping out the space, the quads. You do that like with the mouse, just clicking the corners of the surfaces, and that becomes a video-based surface. This particular version responds to sound, so it's actually sort of beat matching to the music played. So all those colours are actually responding in real time. Particle effects that happen in real time. So recently we did a project that was called Arctic Sanctuary, where there was a snow field that you can actually interact with the particles in real time. Originally we were actually projecting our faces onto the ping pong ball, and we started thinking about, well, can we project something to look like it's inside of this ping pong ball? So we used a physics engine to pour objects inside of that ping pong ball. So to make we basically made a hollow 3D sphere and poured, little balls inside of that. And it actually looked quite believable from the right angle. So we did tailor the technology around ideas that we had as to what we wanted to achieve. The next thing we did was take two ping pong balls and make them spin off one another. So, then we applied that to the software. So yeah, we have gradually built it with those ideas in mind. Then, one thing that we had to do very early on was actually develop a editing environment, so that, because you can't really just... I do like fish. There's something about, I don't know, there is something about fish. I remember I went to a fish shop when I was young. I found this bathtub and I wanted to turn it into a pond. I'll just explain briefly what the fish were about. How we use fish was, rather than us, there's a lot of those sort of interactive walls and interaction done on the floor with, you can step and things, sort of happen around you. And there's a real toyish element to those interactions, kind of like what iToy is. What we did was we used the fish as points of interaction, as in we were tracking the fish's movements in order to trigger sounds. Water lilies that were virtual above the fish tank, the fish were able to hit those and change the music. And when you see the fish interact with these virtual objects, it almost is more believable than when you do it yourself, because that tactility is not there, that tactile response. So, but when you see fish do it, it all of a sudden becomes more believable, yeah, the fish really did that.
Yeah.
And because we don't have that first-hand response to the, lack of feedback, in a sense, forced feedback, that, by someone else doing it, it actually encouraged sort of more sense of wonder and intrigue.
Yeah.
It's an experience that in a way, you know, we're still, I think, quite far from reaching that responsiveness that we have in nature. In the virtual world, you know, it's still quite robotic-like and rigid, and yeah, there's
contrived, isn't it? It's very contrived, very controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I guess it.
On the spot.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. Interesting. So something about you guys. How's that? Does it work? I mean, maybe. I think there's something missing, isn't there? There's a little something missing. There's got to be, like if it was, whoa, like that. You know, there's got to be some sort of connection between these two sheets. There you go. It's got the same thing on it. They're both the same. Look, the same picture.
Yeah.
That's good. Cool, we did it.
Yeah. Awesome. Cheers.
No problem.